Our Almighty God, Creator of heaven and earth, Father and lover of our soul, you sit on your throne of mercy and rule with your love and faithfulness. You are full of grace. We acknowledge your presence in our lives. Nothing is hidden in your eyes, even our challenges and struggles in life. We come to you with faith. We ask not only for our daily spiritual bread, but to seek your forgiveness and undeserving favor to heal our land, our family members, our friends and neighbors, even our enemies with COVID-19 and other diseases. Holy Spirit, help us to deepen our faith and see the opportunity to believe, obey, and worship. As we face this pandemic, you are Lord and God. Encourage us and change our hearts, not to fear, but to be full of hope and find ourselves praying and meditating your word. We believe no works of the enemy prosper to your children. Abba, Father, we believe that your Son Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. He is the truth and our salvation. Hear our prayers, O Lord, and most of all, not our will, but thy will be done. We pray this in Jesus' name, the name above all names, who was and is to come. Amen.
Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kanta at programang Tatak Pinoy. Napapanood at napapakinggan kahit saan ka man. Streaming worldwide. In South Manila, this is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Dahil mahal namin kayo. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino, basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan, kahit nasaan ka man ito'y mapapakinggan. Oh, oh, oh. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Dahil mahal mahal namin kayo. C81 Radio, C81 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. Dahil mahal namin kayo. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program anchors and producers and do not necessarily reflect the policies and position of this station. Here now is the program for the millennials that will showcase young professionals' worth, aspirations, and successes in doing what they believe is right, progressive, and inclusive. Join them as they discover the path to self and societal fulfillment while making a difference. Hosted by empowered and cool millennial Erika Mison, together with her fellow millennials, they will be making a difference. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Good afternoon, everyone. You are now tuned in to Making a Difference. This is a show created to inspire and motivate the youth of today. My name is Erika Mison, and you are now watching another episode of Making a Difference. So last week was actually our season starter. And to kickstart season 4 of Making a Difference, we celebrated Women's Month by inviting Justine Austria. So Justine Austria is a young student who shared her thoughts on the women today, and she also shared her passions and future plans as well. So if you want to watch that episode, please follow Making a Difference on Facebook. We're also on YouTube, and you can find that episode and all my other episodes from season 1 up to season 4 there. So if you want to watch, I don't know, let's say you're just chilling and you want to watch some of our episodes, you can check us out on Facebook and on YouTube. So for this week's episode, we have 2 guests who are here with me today to share their passions. And we also have a special guest at the end of the show. So stick around for that. I'm actually kind of excited. But before that, I'm going to show you guys something actually. This episode, or should I say sponsored by, but this episode is in partnership maybe with the Snapbox PH. So Snapbox is this business where you can actually buy snacks. Actually, there are snacks inside. Let me show you guys. So there are snacks inside, and you can curate your own box. You can buy whatever snacks there is available on Snapbox page. So look at this. This is actually really good. And we'll have it delivered to you in a box. So if you want to check out Snapbox PH, you can follow Snapbox PH on Instagram, and the order link is there as well. So thank you, Snapbox PH. And of course, we have our usual question of the day. Okay, so if you are a new viewer here on Making a Difference, I would ask my guests and my viewers the question of the day. So it really depends. There's no same question with my previous episode. So it depends on the episode that we're gonna have today. And today's question of the day is, what are you most passionate about? So I want to know what you guys do, if you have any passion projects that you want to share, if your project even has like social media accounts. comment them down below so that we can follow your passion projects, or actually it can be anything. So let me know. I want to know your thoughts, and I want to know what you guys do, especially during your downtime. Okay, so I will be flashing this question throughout the show. So, ayan, that's the question of the day. What are you most passionate about? All right. So, let's dive into today's episode. Again, we have two guests today, and the first guest that we are going to talk to is none other than Ram Botero. So Ram is an artist actually, and we're gonna get to talk to Ram. Hi Ram, are you there? There.
Hello.
Hi Ram, nice to see
Hi,
you.
Erika.
How are you?
Doing good. I hope my connection doesn't fail me today.
Yeah, I know. It's been raining here, so I'm also praying that my connection stays stable. But anyway, so here's Ram Botero. So Ram is an artist, and we're gonna get to know what Ram does later on. But for now, let's get to know Ram a little bit better. So Ram, I know you're not in Manila right now. So tell us, where are you currently based?
I'm Ram. Hello. I'm a creative and cultural worker from currently in Nabunturan, Davao de Oro, but I'm based in Davao City in Mindanao in the Philippines. Um, I'm a visual artist and I'm currently dabbling in filmmaking. Um, what else? Yeah, in 2019, I made my first short film. I wrote and directed, even acted in it. It's called Pamalugo in Limbo. And this year, we're part of the Southeast Asian Queer Cultural Festival, where we had an exhibition on pre, queering pre-colonial Philippine mythology. So, and it's doing
Ooh.
yeah, it's doing quite well. So I'm very excited.
Okay. Sige, we'll talk about that because I'm actually interested in mythology. Okay, especially here in the Philippines. And we have quite a lot. Okay, so I actually have a question. When you say visual artist, is there a concrete definition for that? When you say, okay, I'm a visual artist, what does that mean? What do you do exactly?
I think the conservative definition of a visual artist is something that you could, visualize, an artwork that you could visualize. Like, for instance, paintings, drawings, sculptures. I think that's what a visual artist is. But when you come to think of it, if it's something that you could see, I think that also encompasses filmmaking. But then it's a different category. But yeah,
Okay,
so I started as a visual artist. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Now I understand. And besides then being a visual artist and a filmmaker, do you have any other interests or hobbies on the side that you like to do?
Yeah, I do write. I write from time to time. I contribute to different literary anthologies, different literary platforms. I don't remember when, but I was part of the Young Davao Writers anthology of young writers. Um, I think that was edited by um, one of the renowned literary figures in the Philippines, Ricardo de Ungria. What else? I've contributed um, uh, other writings to, like, um, writing for film and writing for um, my advocacies as well.
Okay, so yeah, we'll have Ram back on the screen in a bit. But for now, just in case you missed Ram's intro, so Ram is a visual artist. Actually, we were just talking about what she does and yung mga interests niya and hobbies on the side. But before, okay, there we go. Ram's back. Hello, Ram. Okay, no. Okay, so yeah, so we were talking about your writing. Yeah, you So that's your interest, or that's your hobby, besides than
Yeah.
visual, being a visual artist and a filmmaker. Do you write also short stories or um, poems?
No, no, but I do write some prose. I do, but like if you're into filmmaking, it's you have to be well rounded. You have to be good in writing because you have to write your own script, or if
Mhm.
that's what you feel like doing. I mean, there are many uh, things that you could do in filmmaking, but I do like to write my own script. And so it's kind of a short story as well, how you compose your script and then how you break it down to dialogues, so yeah, it's
Okay,
much like short story.
right. Ram, did you go to an art school or an arts university?
No,
No,
I
no.
actually went to UP Mindanao. I took Bachelor of Arts in Communication Arts, and I majored in Media Arts. But the thing is, I thought that, when I heard communication arts, maybe it would give me some room for my creativity. It did, but it wasn't enough. I thought, it was too technical. You study communication theory, it's very different from what I imagined it would be like, working doing your major in media arts. It's very different from what I expected. So I kind of burnt out, and because there was this need for me to channel my creativity, which wasn't accommodated in that space.
Okay, I see, I understand. And then so, it was during then, no, or was it after you graduated? That's when you realized. Actually, you know what? How did you discover, or how did you get into visual arts and filmmaking?
When I was young, I've always been fascinated with paintings. I remember my grandfather had this encyclopedia, and there's this volume, the letter P, with the paintings in there, Rembrandt, Titian, Caravaggio, and all the greats. And I thought, I wanted to do something like this. I wanted to create. I wanted to visualize this world in my head, and that's how it started. And then my grandfather was also a really good artist. I remember he would paint on anything. I remember waking up during siesta, after siesta. And then I found my grandfather sitting on a bench under the tumbis tree in our front yard. And he was painting this beautiful blue swan on our bench. And I thought, I really wanted to do this, and I was inspired by my grandfather mostly, and then my mother as well. And I think I belong to a family of creatives, so that it allowed me to explore my potential as well. And then I eventually dabbled in filmmaking when I moved to the city, and I met the members of the film community there. They're very small, but they're very active. Aside from filmmaking, they also stage screenings to promote film viewing and interest in cinema. They also hold film fora. So it was interesting, in film workshops especially. So it was, finding that community. I felt like I could expand my creative capacity by dabbling in filmmaking.
Okay, so it really comes from the family, no? Parang
Yeah.
I've noticed, yeah, it really does. It has an effect. Like my sister, she's an artist. She paints better than me, and my lola, she's the painter. Actually, this is her paint. Shout out to
Oh
my lola.
wow.
She's watching. That's her painting. Yeah. So this is Chinese art painting. So my lola does that. Sometimes she watches me live. So I hope she watches this episode. So shout out
Hi
to my lola.
Lola.
Okay. So great. It's good to know na at such a young age you were able to you already sort of knew your direction. No. Okay. So how long have you been in filmmaking, or did you kind of just start?
It's funny because I was I did this job for Cinema Region, where I worked as a facilitator for their roadshow, and I met filmmakers. I've met filmmakers, regional filmmakers, established regional filmmakers there. And then after sitting down for 2 days, just watching films, um, this director asked me what I think about it. And, I was giving him a critique of how they depict women in cinema, because I was even in regional cinema, because I was kind of upset how, most of the films, women were sitting in front of a mirror combing their hair eternally. And I thought, is that how women are portrayed by these male filmmakers? And then I gave him, a piece of my mind. And then a few months after, he said that I am coming up with a new film. And I remember our conversation about empowering female characters in film. So when a woman watches that film, she could see herself in that character, that empowered character. And he thought, I want to have you in the film. So that's how I started. I accepted the role. I played a priestess in a babaylan in his movie, and it was during filming that I, observed and learned the ropes. And the interesting thing was, because in regional filmmaking, you don't have much budget like blockbuster films or films that are produced by Star Cinema and these huge film companies, right? So you are allowed to actually help. Like, can I help with the wardrobe? Can I help with assisting the cameraman? So that's how I learned the ropes, and also network with other members of the film community.
Oh, that's nice. That's really good. You mentioned a while ago about Philippine mythology, and you just mentioned it, nga, that you were in the film. Um, I'm actually really curious now. We have a lot of interesting Philippine mythology stories, but what made you so interested in Philippine mythology? How come yun yung medyo not really track, but you like to focus more on that? Is there something did you have like a moment where you read the story and you're just like, "Oh wow, this is really interesting."
I've always been fascinated with mythology. Um, when I was very young, I would read Greek mythology. I read Roman and Scandinavian, Norse, and other mythologies around the world. But I thought, as I grew older, I thought, what about our mythologies here? The interesting thing about mythology is that, it's about creation, but it's also about transformation. If you
Mm.
notice, in many stories in mythologies, it's about this nymph who transformed herself into a tree, or this princess who turned into a swan, that are boundless capacity to transform. And growing up trans, it was my way of navigating and trying to understand my identity, because society tells me that you're not supposed to be like that, because you were born male and you're supposed to be male. But then in mythology, you could transform yourself. There's that, limited capacity of transforming. And I've never felt like, I'm male. And and I think, with mythology, it allowed me to see the world differently. And especially with our mythologies, there are homoerotic and gender queer narratives in our myths, but they're not that highlighted. And because only fragments of these myths have survived, we have very little access to it. We have very little resources to it. And so it interested me. I'm not saying that there's such a thing as queer mythology, but you can look at mythology in a queer lens. So you can read mythology in a queer lens and highlighted the queer aspects of it. Queer doesn't necessarily mean, sexuality and gender, but queer in the sense that it challenges what we think is normal. It challenges what the status quo believes.
Okay, kaya that's why pala you focus more on Philippine mythology. So since we're talking about this now let's talk about your short film. I know we have a poster of I'm sorry, correct me na lang if I pronounce this wrong now. Pamalugu, is that right?
Maluku, yes.
Yes. Okay. So, there's your name. I saw it. I was like, oh, love it. I have a filmmaker on my show. So maybe you could tell us more about this short film.
I actually used a mythological framework with this short film as well when I wrote it. Pamalugo is a Matiksalog term. So according to the Matiksalogs, when you die, your spirit, or what they call Gimukod, will arrive in a place called Banwa ni Mebuyan. Mebuyan is the goddess of the underworld. Um, and then you need to contemplate on the life you've left behind, and then you will find a river, and in that river you must bathe, cleanse yourself, and that ritual cleansing is called pamaluko. You do that to make your spirit at home in its new place. Only after that you're allowed to cross to the other side, or what they call gimukudan, the final resting place of the spirit. So the Matiksalogs are the Matiksalogs are an indigenous community from Mindanao. Literally, their name translates to people of the river. So the river is very sacred to them. It's where their livelihood comes from, and many aspects of their culture comes from. And in the
Wow.
film, there are three characters: a trans woman, a poet, and an activist. And they contemplate on the lives they left behind as they navigate around in the afterlife. So it's a
Galing.
bit didactic. Like if there's really not much of a plot, but they're just like it's sort of like Waiting for Godot. So I did reference the Samuel Beckett play Waiting for Godot, but instead of existential conundrum, they're talking about the life that they lived, and how they navigated it.
Galing. No, see this is why mythology in general for me I find it more interesting. I don't know, compared to other movies. And like you mentioned a while ago, Greek mythology, and then we have our own Philippine mythology. I don't know. There's just something about it, no, that makes it very interesting. I don't know. I like reading. I like hearing stories like that. So can we watch this? Was this shown? When was this done actually?
In 2019, it premiered in Nilngig Asian Fantastic Film Festival. So Nilngig, like I mentioned before, the film community, the film community in Davao also established a film festival. Initially, it was a horror genre specific
Mm.
film festival. So most of the films that they screen are horror films made by Davao filmmakers. And then they
Mhm.
branched out. They invited filmmakers from other parts of the Philippines. And then eventually they invited filmmakers from around Southeast Asia. So it became an international film festival. And then they expanded the genre. So from horror, now it included fantasy films. That's how my film was
Right.
included in the film festival.
Right.
So it
And
premiered
how
there and then traveled around other film festivals in Zamboanga, in General Santos, and then last year in Naga, where I met Angeline, who invited me for this interview.
Okay. So, yun pala yung history natin. How long did it take to film Pamalugu?
But because we were working on a shoestring budget, like
Hmm.
virtually nothing, so we had to shoot it. Our estimation is like the longest would be 5 days, but we shot it in 2 days because
Wow.
you have. I know you have to consider of course, the budget, the availability of the location, and the people availability of the people, because it was sort of a collaboration. Most of the people who helped me in making the film, they didn't they didn't ask for any fees. So I have to consider their time, and then you also have to consider the weather, because our weather, because of climate change, is very unpredictable, and so you have to hurry up, and you don't have money because time is also money, so you have to hurry up and plan everything so you can finish as soon as possible. So yeah, 2 days, I think 2.5 days. And then the post production is another story. So filming, it took 2 days. There were a week of preparation, and then 2 days of filming, and then post production, which I think took a month.
A month. Okay. Yeah. So that's meaning like the editing and like the screening and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. But still that's pretty that's pretty short. Did you even sleep during those 2 days? Like
We barely had sleep, but it's okay. You have to wake up like, um I acted, I directed, and I wrote the whole thing, right? So, but I have to wake up really early because I have to prepare everything. Although I had a really good producer, which helped me with the dirty work, like the documents, the papers,
right,
and taking care of the crew. So yeah, it helps me
right.
a lot.
Right, right. We actually have a question here from Christian Clemente, and he's asking, where can we watch your movie? Is it out online?
Um, we have screenings online. Last time was, I think, November, for the retrospective of Neil films for the previous Neil festivals.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, I hope that they will screen it in Cinema Region. I think this month, I think on the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. I received an invitation, but I don't have a confirmation yet. And they have a Facebook page, Cinema Region 2021. And then they already kickstarted the film festival with film workshops. And I hope they will screen it on the 23rd. If not, we will find another venue or platform to screen our film.
Yeah, yeah. That would be great. Let us know so we can
Yeah,
we
you
can
can
check it
follow.
out.
Yeah, you can follow our Facebook page, in Limbo, on Facebook, in Limbo,
Okay.
and you will find the poster there, so
Limbo.
it's easy to
Okay.
recognize.
So Christian, if you wanna check them out, go follow in Limbo. Now, actually, we have you have another future film in the making. Yes, let's
Yeah,
talk about that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm very excited about this because it's going to be a period film, and it's
Mhm.
based on Jose Rizal's Elias at Salome, the lost chapter of Noli Me Tangere, Elias at Salome. And it's a Mindanaoan adaptation. It's written
Mhm.
and will be directed by an established regional filmmaker, one of the pillars of regional cinema and Mindanao cinema, Gutierrez Teng Mangansakan. He's a Datu from
Mhm.
Maguindanao, and um, yes, it's about Elias and Salome. And I will be playing Salome in the film. We applied for a grant from FTCP, the Film Development Council of the Philippines, and we received a 1 million grant. But that's not enough to actually make a full length film. Especially if it's a period film, because you have to consider the costumes, the location, and the set. So it's going to be a bit expensive. So we're currently doing a crowdfunding,
Yes.
and we're doing a crowdfunding, and we're also applying for other film grants. So I think you will show later the links to our crowdfunding.
Yes, so we'll share. I'm not sure if that's the one that we have here. Can we show the other two materials, because I know I added another one. But yeah, where can we follow while we're loading that? Where can we follow you? Let's say somebody here wants to donate um to your
So we
crowd.
have a Facebook
Yeah.
page too. We have a Facebook page. It's called Faramanis. That's the title of the film. Paramanis is like an enchantment used by the Tedurais. They're a group of um, indigenous people here in um, Mindanao, which is close to Maguindanao. And the interesting thing about Dead Rise and why I'm going to play Salome, a trans woman playing Salome, is that in their community they have trans members. Those who trans women or one who becomes a woman, they call them Mentifuwale Lipon. And for trans men, they call them Mentifuwale Lagi, or one who becomes a man. And the film is going to tackle identity, colonization, and at the same time, magical realism. So I'm very, very excited for this one.
Yeah, okay. So we will be sharing the links just in case you want to check them out and you want to donate to their crowdfunding. We'll have them posted here on Making a Difference Facebook page. Now, before I let you go, Ram, I'm also going to ask you, of course, the question of the day. And
Question.
yes, so the question of the day for this episode, well, besides that, maybe you have other things that you're passionate about, no? But the question of the day here is, what are you most passionate about? Maybe there's something else, but besides than
Art, yeah.
filmmaking, besides that, art, yeah.
Well, the one thing that I'm most passionate about currently is grassroots work,
Mm.
giving, immersing in communities and empowering communities, disenfranchised communities, dispossessed communities, especially the indigenous communities, because most of their stories are depicted or comes from an outsider's perspective, not really from them. And it's very important for these communities to have their right to self-determination, to tell their own stories. And in that way you empower them, you include them in the whole, uh, tapestry, in the whole picture. So it's very important that their voices are heard, because I think the writer Arundhati Roy said there's no such thing as the voiceless. There are only those who are deliberately silenced and preferably unheard. And how do you silence this group of people? By removing their rightful place in our society. So it's very important that they are given a space to tell their own stories.
Nice. That's really great. And thank you for giving back to those communities, no. Especially those that aren't the indigenous tribes, no, there aren't really a lot they need to have more light on them. Kumbaga. So, one last question. What is your message to the members of the youth, especially to those who are aspiring artists, or they're still thinking if they should pursue this track?
My advice is don't take my advice, but take Martha Graham's advice. So Martha Graham is a contemporary dancer, contemporary American dancer and creative. She said, "There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you in action. And there's only one you of all you in all time. This expression is unique, and if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will never have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, not how it compares with other expression. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist displeased. There's no satisfaction whatever at any time. There's only a queer, divine satisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive than the others. So never ever lose your creativity. Let yourself be open to any possibilities and any creative capacity."
I love that. Thank you for sharing that quote, Ram. And thank you for also being here today on Making a Difference. I hope you enjoyed this interview and this chikahan sesh, as what we called it backstage. And I wish you well. I wish you well and
You.
stay safe. Thank you so much, Ram.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, Ram. Okay, so that was Ram Botero, a visual artist slash filmmaker. We are gonna go on break for a couple of minutes. When we come back, we still have one more guest plus a very special guest at the end of the show. So stick around, and I'll see you after a few minutes.
We'll be back shortly, making a difference. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I'm a king of rock, there is none higher. Some of MCs should call me sire. To hold my kingdom, you must choose fire. I won't stop rocking till I retire. Now we rock up party and come correct. All sets are on time and rock connect. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I'm a king of rock, there is none higher. Some of MCs should call me sire. To hold my kingdom, you must choose fire. I won't stop rocking till I retire. Now we rock up party and come correct. All sets are on time and rock connect.
Now back to Making a Difference. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Welcome back to Making a Difference. If you are just tuning in right now, my name is Erika Mison, and you are watching Making a Difference, a show by the youth for the youth. All right. So if you are just tuning in right now, I already interviewed my first guest of the day, and I had with me Ram Botero. So Ram is a visual artist slash filmmaker. We talked about her passions and films mostly. She did a film already, and if you wanna check out her, and she has a fundraiser as well, so we will be posting that in around next week. So make sure to like Making a Difference on Facebook to find out more about Ram Botero's future film. All right, so now we have another guest. I have another guest with me today, and she is actually from ISEC. So I'd like to introduce Mia Guiab. Hi, Mia.
Hi, Erica. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Mia. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Yeah, you did actually really well. I was surprised.
Perfect. I forgot to ask you what. Yeah, I was reading it. Okay. So everybody meet Mia, our second guest for today's episode. So before we dive into what you do exactly, of course, we want to get to know you first. So Mia, maybe you could tell us something about yourself. Are you actually still studying?
Yeah, I'm still studying. I'm actually a second year in BA psychology, majoring in human resource management.
Oh wow. And you're
Yeah,
studying where pala?
sorry.
Where are you studying?
Oh, I actually study in Miriam College.
No, okay. And how's I ask this to all my student Yes. How's online class treating you so far?
Um, I have to say that it's hard and that you really have to make the most of your own resources. And you have to make time to communicate with your course mates on your own. Not the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's harder. It's better in, well, for me at least, it's better to talk and meet in person. You get things done right away instead of like you have to message and then you have to wait for them to reply.
yeah, that's true.
Right? Okay. So do you have any interests, any hobbies?
Okay. Uh, I think before Isaac came into my life,
Yeah.
I had a lot of interests ranging from I was starting out to do like small art stuff. Not that I was any good, but I used to do stuff like calligraphy and I started digital art. Um, I try to go out to the beach as often as I can to surf. My family is
Wow.
really into surfing. Um, and I guess everything in between was really just project management and org. I'm kind of really into that.
Okay, okay. I see it now. I
Yeah.
really see. Sige,
Yeah.
let's talk about Isaac and what you do. So you are, well, based on your name, you are an Isaac branch manager. So tell us, what do you do as an Isaac branch manager?
Okay. So, since ISEC is a global organization, we have it down to entities and branches. So, our entity is ISEC in the Philippines, and the branch is my local committee. So, that makes me local committee president of ISEC in Miriam College. So, I lead basically and manage ISEC and Miriam College together with my executive board.
Wow. Okay. And how long has Isaac been in Miriam na ba?
Um, it came back around 2008-ish, but before that, it's still a bit unclear because we had like a bit of choppy years in between.
Right, right. You know what? I forgot to ask like the very basic question. For the viewers here who don't know what ISEC is, maybe you could tell us what does ISEC stand for?
Okay, so I don't think
Very
I can
brief.
tell you what the word Isaac means because it's in
Okay.
French and I
Right.
don't speak French. But what I can tell you is what we do. So we are a global youth or leadership organization, and we started around after the Second World War when a bunch of youth um, believed that cross cultural understanding and youth leadership was the key to stopping fight, stopping war, creating peace, and creating fulfillment of humankind's potential. And that's exactly what we believe in. That is our core, our why. We strive to achieve peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. And we do this by believing that leadership is the fundamental solution and that it can be developed in anyone, and we do such again through placing our confidence in the youth because we believe that they are the key to the future. So to sort of like uncloud like all of the things that I just said, we used to do exchange for volunteerism and sort of it's internship opportunities. But syempre, COVID happened. So we sort of focused to our core, which is developing leaders. And I'll sort of talk about it more later on, but we now sort of shifted, pivoted towards focusing on the different innovative ways that we can develop and stretch the way that we create opportunities to develop the youth.
Okay, so there you go. You guys want to join ISEC? Well, iba kasi yan, no? Like per college, and then I know that's how it works. So if
Yeah.
ever you guys are in Miriam and you want to join ISEC, Mia's here. Comment down below. I want to join. Well,
I'll
anyway,
see you guys.
okay. So there. How long have you been with Isaac and Miriam? Like ever since you started college, ba Isaac na kaagad?
um, yeah, actually, ever since I got into Miriam, I mean, I am second year, so yeah, I've
Okay.
been in ISEC for a year and a half around, and it's
Okay.
crazy, but good.
Okay. All right. So I actually want to ask you the question of the day. So you've been here since kanina and I know you've seen the question of the day. So I'm going to ask that to you now actually before we get into the conversation. What are you most passionate about?
Okay, so for me, I think this was a struggle for several years, like sort of pinpointing what it was, because um, back then we didn't really have, like, I feel like years back we didn't really have a word for it, but for me it's mental health. Because I feel like that's sort of the core at which um, we develop people, we help people strive to be better, and it's through that that we sort of crisscross to sort of all the other different paths of achieving a better way to solve social issues. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And now, so I could tell that you're really involved with Isaac. I mean, when I asked you what your interests and hobbies were, parang, besides Isaac, I know, so parang that's your life, basically. No. Um, so
Yeah.
how did you discover that na parang, okay, this is what I want to do, or how did you get into what you're doing today?
You mean Isaac in particular?
Yes.
Okay. Um, to be very frank, I used to be the kind of person that really didn't contribute to society or didn't even really take my studies seriously.
Okay.
Like the core of my existence was really just being there for the people around me. And again, I didn't know that that was in a way what I wanted to do. But so back then, I was the sort of person that would just say yes to everything. And a bunch of my friends suddenly wanted to join ISEC and not knowing anything about it, like legit zero. I knew nothing about ISEC. I just knew that a lot of my friends were joining. I signed up and I guess like we have this sort of camp where they induct us new members, and it's so easy to be inspired by the amount of commitment that these people put into their belief in other people. So I guess I learned sort of from day one. And I kind of like, I guess it's sort of like an Isaac joke where you get addicted to self-development and social impact. And I honestly feel like that's true because a lot of us sort of spend like so much of our time in Isaac and it becomes our community
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
sort of like our home. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So as a student, actually you are a student leader. So as a student leader and then now online classes, how do you how do you stay motivated? Do you have a routine that you do? I mean, are there days where you're just not feeling it? Like, what do you do? How do you stay motivated? How do you continue to do what you do?
I mean, I can't lie and say that it's always going to be easy and that you don't have those, I won't have those days where I'm demotivated. But
Mm.
um, honestly, I don't really have sort of like a motivation routine.
Mhm.
I honestly have to give the credit to the people that surround me. Um, my my executive board members and their team leaders and the members. Honestly, every time I have a space with them, it's it's so motivating. because they talk to you about their dreams of becoming better. They tell you that they chose to do something so scary because someone inspired them, and they tell you that they're going outside of their comfort zone because they feel the need to make a difference. And I feel like every space I have with them, because they're always talking about something that, or they're always learning something from me or me from them. And we sort of come to it always feels like a heart to heart space, even though we're working,
Yeah.
because you always feel more and more motivated to go towards the goal of making an impact in someone else's life. And I guess that daily reminder of these people, of their commitment. Yeah, yun talaga. Like I cannot take credit in some sort of magical routine I do. I just surround myself with the right people.
Great. Yeah. What's it like being a leader or like being an ISEC branch manager? I'm sure I mean, you said it a while ago, you're a yes person. You didn't know what you were getting into. And I'm sure you didn't know that you didn't expect that you were going to be an ISEC branch manager. Diba? So,
Absolutely not. um, what's it like? Okay. I did have to change a lot, honestly. Part of the reason why I actually became passionate about mental health is also because I had my own struggles. I went through years of depression and anxiety, and it made me incapable of doing anything, literally anything. Like I spent days literally just in my room doing nothing, and I realized that saying yes to everything, although it sounds exciting, um, wasn't good for me. And just taking in any person all the time when they need help, even though when you have no energy, no capacity, it's not good for you and it's not good for them. And um yeah, I did learn. I had to sort of build my way up, and I'm still learning. I think we all, learn through life every day how to better take care of ourselves. And so, again, back to the question, like, what's it like being a Isaac branch manager, given that I am a sort of yes person? Um, I guess what's it like? It feels like that's a very broad picture to paint. I I do spend a lot of my days in front of the computer, even um even past the hours that I'm in school. And it means, because since you represent or you manage your college branch, you get to represent in a way that you meet the national executive board. And I don't know, I feel like for me, every time you sort of take a step further in ISEC, it's so easy for you to see the opportunities that you gain. For me, I now have the influence and the opportunities on a global level where I attend international conferences online. If this were physical, actually, I would have attended it physically. Better moment. But, and yeah, you have the influence of all these people, all these opportunities, and you have the opportunity to bring that back to your members. And yeah, I guess being a branch manager, kasi you represent externally in ISEC, uh, ISEC International, Asia Pacific, Philippines, and you help your executive board sort of come together towards their goals. So it takes a lot of my time.
Mm.
But when you go back to the core of what everyone is really doing, like talent management or HR is there to help develop your members so that they can um, personally develop and professionally develop so that we can work as an organization better together. Marketing is so that um, that we create this better image of who we really are as an organization and the passions that we do. Our operations, again, we create different projects to create a social impact. It's tiring, but it's always worth it. And you find that these people teach you so many things about yourself and about I don't know. I feel like I'm always learning, and
Yeah.
yeah. I
Right.
don't know how better to summarize.
Yeah. But okay, so with everything that has been said, maybe you could share kahit one experience, or what are your key takeaways from being an ISEC branch manager that you would want to share with us today? Maybe like
Okay.
an experience na parang, oh wow, like I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life. Did you have that moment?
Hmm. Well, I actually just started my term in
Mhm.
February,
Okay.
but I
Actually, not as
think
brand manager, can be like in ISEC in general.
okay.
Mhm.
I don't know if my member is going to see this. um, so I had my first team members just last year when I was still vice president for incoming global volunteer. And um, it was my first time to sort of really do the team building process, create a bond, so on and so forth. And as a leader, you're always afraid because their experience is your responsibility also. How they develop, how they learn, how they make an impact in their own ways, and how safe they feel. I mean, psychologically safe in every way. And as a leader, you just get so tired from being worried all the time. And I think there was this one day where I had a meeting set with someone from a different department who was new, and she didn't know me. She never met me. But I knew that she was intimidated by me apparently because we as leaders we give talks that all the members see, and I think that's the only space where she met me before.
Okay.
So she met up with me, and then she said, Ian, she told me I was so scared to meet you. And then I said, but why? Look at me. I'm so small. I don't look mataray. I'm and then she said, I was scared to talk to you, but then one of your members told me that you're super fun, super nice, and that there's nothing to be afraid of. And that I'm going to learn so much from this space with you, that it's going to be fun. And that was my heart. Like literally it's like at that moment she became so comfortable kasi syempre when they're new members, like a lot of them will call you ate.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
yeah, they will all call you ate. And through the flow of the conversation, in legit a few minutes, she stopped calling me ate. She stopped saying po. She was so comfortable. We were laughing out loud. And um another kwento I think for me is that I'm not sure if this was on the same day, but that same member who spoke to her friend about me or her friends about me, um, again, take note that we only have ever met online because I never met them in person. Um, she she texted me one day and she said, can I have your phone home number and your cell phone number? And I was like, yeah, sure, what for? And then she said, I'm going to make you one of my emergency contacts here while I'm at the hospital.
Yes.
Ang cute. I
Okay.
don't know. It might sound like a silly like memory, but I don't know. For me, it just felt like she was so safe with me. Like she
Yeah.
trusted me that much, and I mean, I don't tell them to tell people about me. So the fact that these members were so sort of advocating for the kind of leader that they wanted people to know I am, and that they felt like they could be themselves with me, and in turn spread that that people knew that they could be themselves with me. That meant a lot, and it really did make me realize that I was doing better than I thought. And that, I don't know, it really validates that what you're doing is worth it.
Yeah.
That that anyone can make that difference in someone else's life.
Yeah. Well, congrats on that person. Congrats. All right. Okay, I know you mentioned well a while ago you told me that Isaac, well, you guys have upcoming projects, right?
Yeah.
And actually maybe we can show Mia's very short um presentation. Can
Yeah.
we flash that please? Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay. So I'll be talking to you guys about something that Isaac in the Philippines is doing called Develop with Isaac. So next slide, please. Okay, so we actually have three programs, which is training for students, for graduates, and for organizations. Next, please. Okay, but specifically for Isaac and Miriam College, the only one that we'll be focusing on is training for students. So why do we do this? We strive towards empowering more youth leaders, and therefore we must further our reach to as many youth as possible. So in our pursuit of our mission to engage and develop every young person, we recognize the potential of empowering Filipino students as they adjust towards navigating in the new normal. So, how do we do this? In our program called Training of Students, basically it's a project of diverse global learning environment for leadership training. I guess what you guys should know is that because we are an international organization, we focus on teaching to you sort of the experience of Isaac, of growing into a leader, the sort of values that we've learned, how we came to become the kind of people who strive to have a social impact, and the influence of cross-cultural understanding. So we sort of sometimes bring in people from different countries from Isaac uh, to let you guys experience their culture, and to show you how the unity of Isaac as a whole, and sort of how it mirrors the unity of what we hope to bring to the world. Because again, peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential through cross-cultural development and leadership, development. So yeah, so this will be done through virtual engagements, sessions, workshops, simulations, and other organizational development related activities. So next slide, please. So how do we do this? What is our goals? We are going to be doing this specifically for senior high school students. That's sort of what we mean by stretching towards the different youth or more youth. Because Isaac is available in a lot of college level um, schools. So yeah, we hope to empower the youth in the senior high school level, and yeah, I mean, I feel like that sort of sums up everything I want to say at this point, because I don't want
Yeah.
to take too much of your time. Next slide, please. So,
Mhm.
Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is, in general, what ISEC is doing right now is we're doing local innovation projects, or innovation projects in general. So basically, this means we're creating events, programs of different sorts that target either the youth, other organizations, or cross-cultural understanding. For Miriam College, or Isaac and Miriam College in specific, we are planning to bring back Help Summit and hold a Help Summit 2021 with the partnership of First Help. So um, we had Help Summit 2020 last year. I was actually part of the organizing committee and I was head of programs. And it was honestly such an honor. Um, Help Summit is basically a mental health summit focused on helping youth leaders sort of manage your own mental health and learning how to manage the mental health of others and help them develop. Because you can't reach your full potential if you're not in a good mental health place. And we knew that the youth are specifically susceptible to mental health crises, and especially so for youth leaders who have the responsibility of taking care of many other youth. And so yeah, that's sort of what we do in Help Summit. But this year, every Help Summit of every year, we sort of do a mental health X something. So stay tuned na lang for what we're going to be doing this year. We hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. So for First Help, our Facebook, for Help Summit's Facebook, Isaac and Miriam College Facebook, and Isaac and Miriam College Instagram. So yeah, I hope you
Nice.
guys can join us.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep in touch. Follow Isaac and Miriam College on Facebook and Instagram if you have any questions for Mia, or if you wanna. Okay. Are you accepting members but now?
Not right now, in a few months, but if you
Months. Yeah.
guys want to join our other programs also.
There you go. Isaac is very, there's so much going on with Isaac. So if
Yeah.
you want to find out more, just reach out to their social media platforms. And there you have it. That's Mia. And again, she's an Isaac branch manager from Miriam College. Mia, thank you so much for being on
Thank
Making a
you.
Difference today. I hope you enjoyed this interview.
I very
And
much did.
great, good to know. Okay, thank you so much. Stay safe and hopefully talk to you soon. Thanks, Mia.
Hi, nice meeting you all.
All right, so that was Mia Guiab, our second and last guest for today. Again, she is an ISEC local committee president, or yun nga, ISEC branch manager in Miriam College. She got to share her. She was able to share her stories about being a leader and being part of ISEC. So before we end the show, I mentioned a while ago that we have a very special guest for today, and he is none other than, drum roll please, my actually one of my mentors here on V81 Radio Manila, Sir Rolly Pagaspas. Hi, Sir Rolly. Hi, sir. Nakamute ka, sir.
Okay, so magandang hapon sa lahat ng mga sumusubaybay sa Making a Difference.
Yan, that's Sir Rolly. So it's been a while po, no, na we were on screen. I think mga last year pa ata po yun, no?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
Matagal-tagal na. Oo.
matagal na. And I also haven't been in person ever since
Yeah.
lockdown. No? Okay, so Sir Rolly is actually here
Mm.
today to talk about his show, his
Mm.
big show. Ang dami nang nangyayari with Talk Shop Asia. And
Mm.
well, we have may mga surprise din siya. May surprise announcement si Sir Rolly. So Sir
Yeah.
Rolly, take it away.
Okay, so Talkshop Asia is now celebrating its 6 years anniversary. this
Yeah.
2021 of March. And definitely we've gone a long way from the time that we planned this the last 2015, wherein our first objective was really to just give an opportunity to all the retailers have their advertising be read, be watched, and be amplified. Because during the time, the media was dominated by the mainstream, the TV, radio, and print, and everything. There's no other show that is dedicated in helping amplifying retail products and companies. So from then on, we transpose ourselves to be number one, to be a community, from a show to a community, and from a community on the 20, I think 18, we need to be an events organizer. So we felt the need that the different guests and the different members of the community ought to network with each other. So during the time, pag mag-guest ka sa Talk Shop Asia, all the guests will now go to a conference room and they will network. So since then, we felt the opportunity that there has to be an event wherein the different members can come and participate in a networking order activity. So yan, 2018. And then 2019, naramdaman namin na we ought now to be the leader in getting to be digital. And so, doon na nangyari, doon na tayo nagkita-kita to be in the V81 radio network.
Right. Yun. Yun na yun.
And
Ganda,
then,
congrats sa 6 years.
yeah,
Congrats na.
maraming salamat. At marami kayong member. So, yung mga tinulungan natin na magkaroon ng mga sariling programa, that's part of the advocacy that for every potential talent and then potential CEOs who would like to intensify their digital presence, we ought to provide an opportunity to give them programs over V81 and big media.
Nice. Ayan. So that's basically what Talk Shop Asia does. If ever nakakita nyo yon, yan, si Sir Rolly is, he's the man. He's the Talk Shop Asia man. Ayan.
Yeah, so
Okay.
right now, Talk Shop Asia has a show in the USA. That's Talk Shop Asia Global USA Edition. And then we have now a new show called Talk Shop Asia Next Gen that aims to reach out to the millennials, the audience of today. And then pinahinga lang namin yung Talk Shop Asia Philippine Retailing Industry Show because we're launching the Business Exchange Program. And the surprise, our fourth program will now be launched this April,
Grabe.
called Talk Shop Asia Discoveries.
Wow naman. Okay, so sir, ano po yung what is the difference of Talk Shop Asia Discoveries
Okay,
with
and
compared
Discoveries. Yeah, because nowadays everything is digital. So everybody is now already online. So for the digital space is so masikip, no? So hindi mo, you can never discover on your own. Somebody has to help you discover it. Kasi it's not only on searching sa dami, so somebody who will amplify will be of help. So we like to help people in our audience and our community discover a lot of things. Number one, from among the verticals of self, may mga storytelling about on what are your new discoveries for yourself. Number two, the trends. So ngayon kasi yung trends, minsan fake news. So dapat the right information should be should be always amplified, not the fake one. Ngayon lang, today kala namin totoo yung balita na may travel na ban na uli this
yeah, I
Monday.
saw
Yung pala fake news yun, di ba? So mga ganon. So pangalawa, trending. Number three, tools and technologies. And for pang-apat will be the turnkey successes ng mga kumpanya.
Okay, so yun pala yun. Grabe, ang dami ng pinagdaanan ni Talk Shop Asia because of Sir Rolly.
But hindi lang doon magtatapos, Erika, kasi we ought to now open a new show about sports. And right now, I'm now putting my hands in the launch of a new sports platform called Kalaro. So the Kalaro is an integrated end-to-end solution for the esports communities, wherein it embraces three kinds of a feature. It has an online digital tournament management system, and then an in-app social and interactive media, and the third one is an in-app uh, uh, financial uh, gems, no? We call it gems, and then to activate commerce from within.
Okay,
Uh,
daming plans. So much
oh,
plans po, Sir Rolly. Oh,
pangalawa pa lang yun, kasi
mm,
so binubuo namin yung landscape. Medyo tapos na tayo sa advocacy sa business kasi it grows by itself.
right.
And so from a programming head, Talkshop Asia is now a producer of shows, and then we ought to produce shows not only on the business vertical, but also on the sports and
Okay.
culture.
Wow, ganda din ng culture, sir.
Ah,
So, I can't
so
wait for
ang una namin is yung Barangay UP Alumni. Hmm.
wow!
So ang tawag namin bupa. O kaya baka maging buka yan, maging magulo. Sabi ko hindi naman. So we want to highlight yung mga UP alumni on giving back. After experiencing excellence and service, there has to be something of giving back.
Right. Yes, dapat palagi po nandun si giving back, no?
Because only in giving shall we grow.
Wow!
Oo.
Ganda ng
Oo.
sir!
Pag hindi mo ibibigay yung nasa iyo,
Mm-mm.
hindi ka lalaki. Both in person and in character.
True. True.
Mm.
Agree po ako dun, Sir
Yeah.
Rod.
Copy
So,
tayo.
sige po. Ayan, so there you have it, Sir Rolly, our
Yeah.
very special guest. Sir Rolly, super nice seeing you po.
Yes.
It's been, and it's so, parang medyo naninibago po ako because I'm the one interviewing you.
Well,
Medyo,
for the information of our audience, Erika is our mentee to be a broadcaster, and she has gone a long way. It's about a year and a half already since we last met in a cafeteria in Alabang. O, di ba?
yes.
Di ba?
In ano, Cafe Breton.
Cafe
Cafe
Briton.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
now she's about to celebrate her first year in live streaming as a broadcast anchor. Congratulations, Erika. And then you did us good because you proved your worth.
Sir, naiyak naman ako. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. I mean, without
Sige.
kayo and Sir Charlie, I wouldn't even be here. So, thank you, Sir Rolly, so much for being here today, talking about Talk Shop Asia. And I wish
Yeah.
you well on future endeavors. And stay tuned to my viewers. Baka mamaya we'll have a joint shows
Yeah,
making a
sige,
difference.
sige.
Talk Shop Asia. So, thank you so much po, Sir Rolly. And I hope
Thank you,
to
Alta.
see you soon. Take care po.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. There you go. So that was Sir Rolly. Yeah, you finally met Sir Rolly, one of my mentors here, and making a difference. They're the reason why him and Sir Charlie are the reason why I am here today. So, ayan, if you want to watch Talk Shop Asia, they're also on Facebook, and they have a lot of other shows no for Talk Shop Asia. So there you have it. That ends today's episode. Thank you all so much for being here with me again today and for watching and talking to me and my guests as well. I see you guys are very interactive, and thank you all so much for being here and continuing to support making a difference. So right now, I would just like to, as Sir Rolly mentioned, I will be celebrating my first year here. See, making a difference will be 1 year next month, and we are already in the process of planning that special episode, which will be on April 17. So mark your calendars because that is going to be one big celebration. We are gonna have guests that are probably familiar to you guys, and we are going to have giveaways as well. So it's gonna be one big event, and I hope to see you all there as we celebrate 1 year of making a difference. All right, so I am already telling you as early as now to mark your calendars, April 17. All right, and of course, we have more shows here on V81 Radio Manila. We have Sports Watch, we have Beauty in a Box, yan, mga young anchors yan. And then we also have Napalm, that's with Sir Charlie naman and Sir Fards. And then we also have Practical Magic and a new show actually called Voice of the Boys. So if you want to know more about our shows, follow V81 Radio Manila on Facebook. So again, thank you all so much for being here with me today. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you also learned from me and my guests today. So again, just a couple of safety reminders. Please don't forget to wear your face masks and face shields when you head out, and practice social distancing, and just stay safe, everyone. I will see you all next week. Same time, same place. Bye, everyone.
The program for the millennials that will showcase young professionals' worth, aspirations, and successes in doing what they believe is right, progressive, and inclusive. Making a difference. Making a difference. Join them as they discover the path to self and societal fulfillment while making a difference. Hosted by empowered and cool millennial Erika Mison. Together with her cool millennials, they will be making a difference. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Tunog Pinoy, Tatak Pinoy, your all hits, all Pinoy digital radio station in South Manila. This is V81 Radio.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan. Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Dahil mahal namin kayo. V81 Radio, V81 Radio. Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.